So, welcome to this evening's webinar on video marketing for small business. This evening, we will go through a few different things, and as some of you will only have just joined, but I will try and use as many video and movie puns as possible this evening. So sorry if they get really old, but these are going to be scenes that we're going to go through. So scene one will be the welcome, and I'll run through some details there. Then scene two will be a little bit of the lay of the land and why we're here talking about video marketing, why this webinar has been one of the most popular webinars that people have signed up for. The third thing, we're going to go and actually show you how to decide what videos to make, which is obviously relatively important. What are we going to put out there? And then I'm actually going to show you how to make a video using a couple of the tools that I use as well. And I want to make sure that you can get as much value out of this as possible with a Q&A at the end as well. So as far as if you've got questions, what I would recommend is if you are going to leave a question, keep it either until the end of the section and we move on through each of the different scenes, and try to give me as much context as possible in the chat box, just because I probably won't get to it till the end, and then I'll be scrolling back up through them and I'll deal with them in order, but I need some context around if you refer to something I was talking about an hour beforehand. So to get the most out of tonight's webinar, rather, I would highly recommend that you try to switch off distractions. Speaking of, I've just gone and switched off my phone and put it on to do not disturb. So just so you can dedicate, if you've got these 2 hours, and I'm going to show you why we should be talking about video, why you should be producing more video. It's going to be valuable information and could potentially have a really big impact on your business. So you owe it to yourself and to your business to switch off any distractions and get the most out of today. You will get the slides afterwards, but you are more than welcome to take as many notes as possible. Some of the tools that I'll go through will have the URL down below. So I'm sure you will be, wherever you're tuning in, might open another tab and then go to that website as well. But rest assured that you will get all of these slides in a PDF format. I'll also have a page on my website set up where you will get a link to the slides, but also directly to each of those tools that we talk about as well as some other information on where you can go next. And of course, like I said, there will be time for questions, so I want to make sure that you guys can get some value out of that. Speaking of where to go next, I want to touch on the ASBAS Digital Solutions program, and everyone here is registered to be part of the program, I'm assuming anyway. But it's a great program to give you access to people that wouldn't usually you wouldn't usually be able to get access to at the price there is. So what I would recommend is, if you are part of this program and you haven't yet taken advantage of the 2 hours mentoring, which is one-on-one with any of the mentors in your state. You can also do it online as well, but you won't get access to those people without going through that mentoring program. So you get 2 hours free as part of this as well. Also know that Francisco, who's in the online tonight, is actually in the chat box answering some questions for me. Thank you, mate. There's also the released a new program about the Digital Marketing Solutions Mentoring Program. So not only do you get 2 hours with your all on top of your events, if you need another 2 hours, you can upgrade to that for another extra $25, and you get 2 hours one-on-one. It's incredibly valuable. If there's anyone in the chat box or online tonight that's done a 2 hour mentoring with me, I think it's really incredible to be able to deep dive into something one-on-one with something in your business that you're just not sure about. And sometimes that's just what we need. We need just someone to relate to us and our business. So I highly recommend that you check that out. To be able to check that out, you just need to log into your account. If I've got time at the end, I might actually show you how to do that and how you can register. But you get access to my calendar, and off we go. All right. Enough about the program. Unfortunately, though, I don't like to talk about myself, but I figure if you're going to listen to me for the next 2 hours, then I need to give you a little bit of background as to why I think I'm qualified to talk about this. So for the past 5 years, all I've been doing for clients out there and working one-on-one with them is around their Facebook and Instagram advertising. I've evolved the business into just focusing on the advertising. So we're constantly trying to drive a business outcome for people. My background, though, isn't necessarily in Facebook advertising. There's no uni degree for Facebook, unfortunately. It's learn as you go. And speaking of where I learned, I've got a background in sport and in sports business, and I've worked for some professional teams and broadcasters out there. The great thing that taught me is to how to engage with all different types of communities and in all different types of mediums. Working in sport sounds glamorous, and sure, there were some highs, but it's tough work. You need to be multi-skilled and multifaceted, and that's kind of where I crafted a lot of my video marketing techniques, because when we're talking to fans, that's the medium that they like to consume, and that's the way that a lot of fans consume their sports teams information as well. A little bit of background on me going a little bit further back. I'm not a Melbourne local, for anyone that's living in Melbourne at the moment, but I grew up, maybe if you are from Melbourne, you might have visited my hometown in Merimbula, where I grew up there, and mum and dad are still back there. So lucky to go back and visit that part of the world. All right, enough about me. Let's get into a lay of the land and why we are talking about video marketing and why everyone's talking about video marketing, why this has been one of the most registered for webinars, because I like to go through some of the stats to prove it, and then I want to show you how you can actually make the most of it. So as far as video consumption, and there's a link to all of the articles in the last slide of tonight, with they'll have a link to all of the information where I've pulled these stats from. I just haven't pulled them from thin air. There's actually been studies done in this. So there's video consumption, there's video production. So consumption by consumers is absolutely astronomical levels. Over the last 30 days, there's been more video content uploaded than the past 30 years of TV. So people are producing so much more video than they ever have been. By 2022, there'll be 15 times more videos consumed than there were in 2017. We're going to be talking about this a fair bit tonight, mobile phone. People are one and a half times more likely to watch a video on their mobile phone. And I don't know about you, I stuck this stat in there because I'm really guilty of this. 65% of people watch YouTube video to help solve a problem. I'm really guilty of that. If there's something I think I can do, but then I realize I can't, and I need to go out to an expert, which is where the businesses come in. But having a video there as a business is a really good idea to be able to show that you're the expert. We'll get into that a little bit more down the track. 45% of people watch more than an hour of video on YouTube or Facebook each week. All up consume. You think about how much video you're consuming just meaningless as you scroll through your favorite social media apps. As soon as you open them, there's video there. And people would rather watch video online than actually watch television now. It's where so much more media is consumed these days. But not only is it the increase in numbers are being consumed by people out there, it's also driving serious business outcomes, because it's been proven that 95% of people are more likely to retain a message in a video than compared to reading it in text. Businesses that use video are 35% more likely to drive conversions. And every year, 100 times, so the amount of mobile consumption of video doubles every single year. On average, on Facebook, if we take that for instance, 135% more organic reach than the average Facebook photo. So when we compare photo and video on Facebook, it's always going to get more organic reach to our followers. More people are using it as well. Over 81% of businesses use video as a marketing tool. I was actually reading the Social Media Examiner social media report for 2019. They do a survey every year. It was one of the most detailed surveys done out there for marketers. And video was a huge aspect of that report. And it was one of the biggest indications that they saw that when things come and go in the social media and digital marketing landscape, video is one of the biggest increases in the amount of businesses that said they're going to increase their amount of attention into video as well. And 7 in 10 people would rather learn about a product by way of a video. So it's an incredible amount of consumption in video, and it terrifies most business owners when we say that you need to do most video. And I get it. It's depending on which generation you're in, it's not native or not the first thing that you think of doing when you want to market your business. But the numbers don't lie. it's here to stay. We've got to get comfortable with it, and I hope that tonight I can make you a little bit more comfortable with that and give you some ideas on how to do that. I want to give you a little bit of background and basically put it bluntly as to why there's so much video out there on the web now, and every platform is guilty of this. This arrow should actually be spinning around the other way, but basically it's one big circle. More people watch more videos, they spend more time on the channels, gives them more chance of consuming advertisements, drives a higher share price. That's purely why the large social media channels out there, and we'll talk about some tonight, but they're all doing this. They all know that people want to consume more videos, and that people will consume more videos if they put them out there in front of people. And they know that if they sit there and they watch more videos over and over, and we've all done it when we go into a bit of a rabbit hole of YouTube or Facebook videos, that if they can keep you on the platform, there's more chance that they're going to be able to earn some money, and that's going to help their share price and their investors. So there's both an emotional benefit as far as the benefit of promoting video in your business, but also when it comes to using some of the large social media channels out there, you're playing in their playground, and whether you like it or not, you've got to abide by their rules. And if they want you to use more video and produce more video, they'll almost force you to. And we've seen that, particularly when it comes to reach and the amount of people that your business is reaching via video, that they will force you to try and put more video in front of more people, and they'll reward the ones that are. So we need to keep that in the back of our mind. The other part that I think a lot of people forget when we talk about video as to why it's not only more people are consuming it, but why people actually watch it. And it's because it ticks all the boxes. When you compare different types of medium, from video to static images, audio, and written content, there are things that video can deliver that a lot of other mediums can't, or can't cover all of those boxes. Things like non-verbal body language. You can see me down here in a little box tonight, and you can see my body language. And I like to talk with my hands, as you'll soon find out. You're not going to get that in any other medium. And 80% of communication cues are non-verbal. So video, if there's people in a video, helps deliver that. Emotion is also a huge aspect as well. Now, people would argue that it can deliver emotion in a lot of other mediums, and that's correct. But I think you can drive more emotion in video than you can. That's why movies are popular, why people win Golden Globes. You can also do longer format as well, and shorter format, but they can go across a longer period, which means that people are more likely to consume more of it. You can obviously hear sound if people play it, whether they do or not, and we'll talk about how many people are watching it with sound and what we need to do to get around that. But having sound there has that more of an emotional cue. And the biggest thing that a lot of no other medium can deal with is movement. And the human eye is trained to watch movement. It's always looking for things that trigger something in the brain to be able to watch more of it. So if you can get something that's moving on the screen and captures their attention, all we're trying to do, particularly when we're using online video, is just get them to stop. Just get them to stop scrolling. And by using movement in video, you can get them to actually just quickly capture their attention. So that's where video is at in today's marketing world. And that's why we need to consider creating more of it. And I want to get into how to do that a little bit easier. And I know when I put this slide up, the people go, oh, strategy. But I really think that you need to consider some of the things we're going to go through tonight before you go out and you just start recording. Because I call video strategy kind of like the three-legged stool. There's three aspects to it. And if one of them falls down, simply won't stand up, and you'll just get lost. You'll just get lost in the avalanche of content out there. And strategy is a first step, because so many people are, as we've seen, producing more video and consuming more videos, but there is a lot of video out there. There's a lot of bad video out there as well. So without you actually first taking a step back and thinking about, all right, what video am I going to create, before even how you're going to create it, what you're going to use, what apps you're going to use to edit it, do I need lights, camera, action, all this kind of stuff. What are we actually creating it for? So I want to get into strategy a little bit deeper, and the reason, or the two things that I like to consider when I'm thinking about video strategy is obviously first a customer, and when we put video out there, because there is so much content, we need to create video that appeals to their needs, their desires, and where they currently are in their life or in the conversion purchasing journey, whether they've seen you for the first time or they've interacted with you before. So we need to think about all these different types of videos and how we can actually trigger something in them a little bit deeper. Because if we don't put valuable content out there, if it's not interesting, and people are watching an hour of video on Facebook or YouTube every week, they'll quickly go and watch another one because there's enough of it out there. And the customer is the ultimate power broker. They've got the ultimate control, because all it is if they're scrolling through, it's just swiping up. And all of that effort that you've gone into creating a video, planning it, shooting it, doing your makeup, getting the lighting ready is just gone with a quick flick of a thumb. So we need to think about the customer at the forefront and what they actually want to see. This is the first thing that people get wrong, is that they try to establish themselves as the person in the story and try to put themselves at the forefront. But customers can go and find that information elsewhere. So you need to put yourselves in the customer's shoes and what they want to do. And when it comes to your business, you need to relate to the customer as far as what your solution is and why you're different, and also how you can help and how you can show them how you can help. And this quote, often people roll their eyes at me when I say this. I think it was created by Chris Ducker, I think, where he talks about there's no business to business or business to consumer marketing. It's people to people. People buy from people. People invest in other people, and it's P2P marketing, not B2B or B2C. That's my little cliche one that you can take and stick on your wall. And the reason why I want you to think about this is because it's one of my favorite quotes, where there is so much there's so much media out there trying to get our attention. People aren't starved for attention, they're starved for connection. They want people to actually understand them on a more personal level. The way that you can create a solution that is personalized for them is how you can differentiate yourselves from the competitors. And the reason why I want you to take a step back is you need to avoid the avalanche of video and become better than average, because there's a lot of average video out there. And if you just start creating video without thinking about it, you'll just get lost. So have a think about this first. Take these steps that we're going to go through. Speaking of, here's how I come up with a video strategy. Time that well. Let me just quickly have a quick look at the chat box before we go further. Okay, just a few, I think just a few audio issues. Okay, cool. So when we're looking at creating video for our businesses and how we can get the attention of people, I tend to relate it to, and for tonight's webinar, the video that we're going to be talking about is video that's targeted to help you make sales and to help you grow your business. I'm assuming there's probably not too many people in here that might be building like a personal brand or a vlogger type brand. So as businesses, if you're going to put the effort into video, you want to get an actual return on your investment and your time and the money that you invest into creating this video. So I put this diagram in here because we're basically creating different types of video throughout the purchasing journey, or the sales funnel, as some people call it. But basically what we're trying to do is have that conversation that you would have in person with them or on the phone. We're trying to put that in an online format. And so we're trying to create different types of videos depending on what level they are in interacting with us. So I split my types of videos into emotional, informational, and promotional, and to match that to where people are at in the sales journey or the conversion journey. They're an unaware audience or a cold audience. There's an aware audience, or people that have interacted or engaged with you and know who you are. And then there's converted audience. And sometimes we forget about our customers. Once they've got to the bottom of the funnel and they're converted, they're like, sweet, on to the next one. But sometimes we can create video to actually improve or increase their loyalty, get them to come back and spend more, and their lifetime value as well. So 3 different levels of video when I try to come up with different ideas. And I want to run through how I decide or what I want to look for in each of the different videos. So let's talk about the emotional right at the top. And this is going out to a really broad audience, and it needs to grab their attention by being able to speak to their pain points and their barriers. Most importantly, you need to understand your customers better than your competition, because sometimes that's the differentiator is the most powerful to your business. It's not a sustainable business if you're always trying to match people on price, time, turnaround. People can't do that. It's just a race to the bottom. So how can you understand your customers on a better emotional level than your competition? And it needs to obviously connect with them. And because they've never heard of your brand before, so this might be the first time they've ever seen a video from you, how can you put something in front of them that quickly grabs their attention? And it's not promotional, it's not salesy, it's not talking about you, it's talking about them. And these are the most important videos out there. And that's why you see so many of them across social media that trigger emotional cues in people. I'm sure we've all consumed them. I'm sure we're probably going to consume some tonight after the webinar. The middle level of the funnel I call the informational stage. And it's where they're considering whether you're right for them, or they may be comparing you against your competitors as well. So informational helps them overcome the steps, overcome the barriers, and gives them the steps to overcome the barriers. So one of the biggest things that people try to do in their businesses is they establish themselves as a hero, the person that's like, I can do this for you, just let me do it for you, I'll help you make millions. Whereas the best businesses and the most loyal and the longer lasting businesses helps give people the information that they need and helps them realize the steps they need to overcome. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll go do it themselves. I take the example of me YouTubing how to fix certain things. A couple of weeks ago, I had a little funny noise in my car, and I went to YouTube. I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm not sure if it means I should take it in and get service yet, but I just Googled it, and a YouTube video came up that showed me a little bit why my car was making that sound. It said, here are the steps. I think it was something to do with the oil and maybe the transmission fluid as well. I could go and change that myself, and I think I actually needed a bit of a flush. Anyway, so I saw that solution. I discovered what the problem was, but I'm not going to try and do that myself. I take it to the professionals and I take it to the mechanic. Now, if there was a local mechanic that appeared in my search results or put a video in front of me that says, have you got a squeaky noise as you're driving along? Here's what it could be. And here's how you can help diagnose a problem. If I see that local mechanic and I'm like, okay, they know their stuff, all right, I'm more likely to take my car to them to get it fixed and get it serviced. Now, I trust them. They've established themselves as the expert. And I've built that connection with them. So how can you give that information? And when you think about all of these different aspects that people need to consider, it's no longer just a need product, go buy product, or need service, go get service, because we have so much choice now and people do so much more consideration and research than they ever have. We need to consider, all right, what are the things that they're actually wondering about, what questions they need answered, how can we offer them some information that gives them the knowledge and the steps and establishes trust with them, but also establishes us as the expert, so we're more likely to get that person when they're wanting to actually use an expert. So that brings us to the bottom level, to the promotional level of videos, and these are, as you expect, pretty salesy. They're the last sticking points that people need to overcome. It gives them a direct action and a direct call to action rather on what to do next, that they need to take the next step in the purchasing journey. And sometimes people think that they keep on dropping out, or no one's converting, or they're hitting my website. Sometimes people just get distracted and they just need a last little video in front of them to just say, hey, did you forget about this? Or are you wondering about that? Or would you like to talk to someone? Some of the best ads that we've run are just the business owner just saying, hey, you're wondering about what happens during the booking process, or what's the process when you do submit your information. You can do this for any types of businesses, whether you have a direct connection with them and it's gathering leads and you need to have a one-on-one phone call or sales call or consultation with them, or whether you're selling product. Some of the other ads that we've done for e-commerce type sales are just videos of the product being packed and being put in the box, and then putting a label on it and stuff like that to say, hey, we've got your package ready to go. Make sure you come back and complete your purchase, because here it is, and we've got it, we've stocked it, and we've got it ready to go for you. So it sometimes just helps them overcome those last sticking points. You can show a little bit more personality and introduce you as human beings here as well. Not to say that you can't do that at the other levels, but sometimes if you want people to connect directly with you, or you need more of that human interaction, and they need to build the trust with you, then putting your head on camera is one of the best things. Yes, I know that's terrifying. And it also just helps them alleviate concerns. Yeah, what happens if I do this? Some people are just worried. So how can you help alleviate those a little bit better? There's 3 different levels as we're going through. What I want to do though is, I know we've got people from all different industries in here, but I want to show you some examples of how I would come up with some video ideas at each of these different levels. And I've gone through a few different ones here. So the first one, we've got the wedding industry. I'm not getting married soon, although I've been chatting to the Melbourne wedding group recently, and had a few people register for, sorry, I'm just going to move there. Had a few people register for the mentoring session. So my girlfriend's outside, and she saw my internet history. She'd be very worried. Anyway, the wedding industry, all different types of providers. One of the emotional videos that you can put in front of people that are potentially looking at using your services while they're getting married is it's a stressful time. How can you help overcome wedding organisation stress? Things that you can actually deal with it. It may not necessarily need to do with if you're a celebrant, a band, a florist, a cake maker, a caterer. You're going to deal with a stressed person regardless. So how can you actually provide some value to maybe, here are some things that we see all the time when we deal with our clients. Here's some tips that we can give you on how to overcome that wedding organisation stress. It's an emotional type thing. They're going to be considering that. Informational. Here's a planner to help you plan your dream wedding, or to help you plan whatever service it is. How the things that you should consider when you're choosing your celebrant or your florist or your band. And then we get to the promotional stage of things, and it's sometimes at this stage we use other people to promote what happened. So how this bride designed her dream day, how she had her dream wedding, and so using someone else's voice to, I guess, promote you is why we put them in a promotional stage. But their case studies effectively. Here's where she was at. Here's what she overcome. She was really stressed. She downloaded our wedding planner, and her dream day was, we've got video footage of photos from her and her husband, and how amazing it was by the end of it. Without this person, I don't think I would have had that dream wedding day, as an example. Good thing we've got a few of the tourism industry here, because I want to put this one down. How you can, so your goal, and I've put the goal for each of these to try and go across different industries, from leads, from getting bookings, purchases. In the next slide I'll go through. So for tourism, how to get bookings. So emotional, the best off the beaten path spots to discover now before everyone else does. Triggers that thing to being like, oh my God, I just want to go to a nice quiet place that's not overrun with tourists. Here's what are some ideas, where should I go? Being able to show that those amazing spots in video format triggers so much emotion when it comes to tourism. Informational, how to discover the ultimate destination for your dream wedding, maybe things that you should consider, and maybe that kind of flows over to the promotional, around steps to make sure you're getting the best airfare deal if you are booking, say, airfares for them, or steps to think when you're booking your Airbnb or your B&B, or you're considering a different tour. What are the things that you should do? So coming up with different levels of emotional, informational, and promotional level. Here are a couple of other industries. I wanted to have one that had a bricks and mortar type platform, so to actually get foot traffic or bookings. So someone that was in, say, the hospitality industry. 10 of Instagram 10 should be of the best 10 of the best Instagram worthy shots of our lunches. Something that just if this comes up during their lunchtime or dinner time and they're like, I'm looking for a really delicious meal, or man, I have I'm having falafel later, so man, I can't wait for some falafel. If there was a video that came out being like the 10 best falafel restaurants in Melbourne right now, that triggers an emotional cue in me to think about falafel. Informational, go behind the scenes on how we make our big breakfast. You know those videos that you see of the ingredients and the method that people go through to, or maybe how they come up with some amazing, ridiculous types of food. There was actually one, they're a bakery in the CBD of Melbourne. They're a plant-based bakery, and they make these square croissants. So it's a croissant pastry, and they're putting these like square molds, and it literally looks like a cube. If you Google Weirdos, Doughs, that is place in the CBD. They make these really cool croissants that literally in a square, and they go through how they plait them, the molds that they put them in, how they bake them, and it makes you want to go there. So putting that information in front of people. And then when it comes to promotional, if you're maybe a cafe or a restaurant that has certain events, promotions, things like Father's Day coming up, that you can, here's our upcoming events that we'll book out. Try to create that urgency as well. So again, different types for foot traffic. And then lastly, people that are paying for stuff online. How do we design? This is if you've been to any of my Facebook sessions before, I go through how I brought a pair of shoes once in my customer journey. It's been in one of the other webinars if you want to go back and watch it. But one of the videos that got me was how we designed and made one of the world's most eco-friendly shoes. It's pretty cool. It's made out of plastic bottles. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Triggers things in my values and principles in me. I went through and I watched, and then I went through their conversion journey, ended up purchasing from them. Informational things to consider if you're looking to purchase, insert product here, whatever it is. Offering some value, offering something that if they're looking at things just like price, well, the old saying, you get what you pay for. Why are some things cheaper than others? Or why is it worth investing more now to help you down the track? And promotional for that is an example before of what happens once you place your order. What's the purchasing process? How is it shipped to you? What are your shipping expectation times? Do you get free shipping? Things like that. Things that would get me to come back if I've got to the point where maybe I've added those shoes to my cart and they say, hey, here's a code for free shipping, or are you looking for free shipping? Come back now and enter the code XYZ, and having those pair of shoes and or whatever it is in front of them in a video format, because those videos are going to get my attention. They're going to appear higher in the news feed as well, as we've seen in the stats before. So that's the type of videos that I think about when I'm going through the video strategy with people, and how I want you to try and categorize what you should be putting in front of people: emotional, informational, promotional. All right, let's get into distribution. Before that, I'm just going to quickly check the Erica. Yes, I'm interested in personal brand. Again, Erica, so Enrica just asked when I mentioned about vloggers and building a personal brand. It's probably more the vlogger, probably I should have, or the influencer type space. So how you would still go through the same process of creating these videos where you have emotional and informational and promotional, because I'm assuming that as a personal brand, you would have something to sell at the end. So whether it's a course, a download, coaching, whatever it is, you've still got that business outcome So I'm more looking for people that build a business out of just building a purely emotional type content, and then their conversion comes from advertisers. Basically, it's the easiest way to describe it. Ursula, how about for a product rather than a service? So yeah, hopefully with going through the e-commerce part of that question about how to market products with video rather than a service. So those e-commerce examples hopefully give you some ideas. Okay, I know you want to get into the tactical and show me, Dan, how to create a video, but I need to go through that first, because you can go and create all the video you want, but you will get lost in the avalanche. So the next step is where we're going to put our video and where we're going to distribute it. Actually, the next step is usually in the production phase, but I'm going to leave that to last because I want to go through all the tools and I want to test them and I want to show you how they work. Let's get into video distribution. I use this diagram to show people the answer to the question, how long should a video be? The answer isn't whether it's 15 seconds, 60 seconds, 60 minutes. It's how long you've got to tell a story, but also how it fits in that social media channel. So I listed most of them here. I haven't covered Pinterest. I'm not sure whether anyone uses Pinterest a lot, but it's more image heavy anyway. I'd imagine. I know they've got video, but I've listed the big ones here that a lot of people use. So YouTube, LinkedIn, I was going to say Instagram as well, Facebook and Twitter. So when we're talking about how long the video should be and how we're talking more around how much of the video is consumed. So people go to YouTube with the intent of watching video. They don't necessarily do that on Facebook. That's why the attention span is slightly less, and they're even lesser on Instagram, mainly because Instagram is both used both on the newsfeed, but also Instagram stories as well, which are 15 seconds or less. So they're shorter, but you can do more of them. So balancing how long they are with how often you should be doing videos as well, I think is a really important point to have. When it comes to distributing your videos, you need to think about, when it comes to producing your videos, you need to think about where you're going to put it first, and that will dictate how long it's going to be. I hope that makes sense. I want to talk about the different types of mediums and or the different types of content you will put across each of the different channels. So what I've done here is I've broke down the left-hand side the different channels, both the news feeds and the stories functionality. And then up the top, I've got some different types of videos or mediums that work and are more common and more popular and get more business results on each of them. So I've listed 15 seconds as a really short video, so 15 seconds or less, ideally less than 60 seconds, 3 minutes or longer, then whether they're square videos, so square shaped, rectangle, which is 16:9, or what you would see when you're watching a video on Netflix or anything like that, or actually it's rectangle. And then you've got vertical, which is basically the shape, the portrait shape of your video. And then you've got live video as well. We're going to chat about live video in a second. But you need to think about, all right, when I'm producing my video, one, how long is it going to be, but also what format is it going to be in? Do I need to produce it in square, rectangle? Do I need to do a live video? If that's the case, where should I do that live video? So I can do live video on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. But so does that actually fit that format as well? Live even on Instagram stories, it only lasts for 24 hours. So it's a little bit different than, yes, I usually say 15 seconds or less on Instagram stories, but because it only lasts for 24 hours, it's not necessarily less relevant, but it is vertical. So you need to consider how long you go live for. And I wouldn't go live for as long on Instagram stories as I would on YouTube or Facebook newsfeed. The best performing videos when it comes to news feeds on Facebook and Instagram are square, and Facebook are pushing you to do more and more of that. At minimum square. There's actually another shape called 2:3 is ratio, basically. So it's slightly vertical, but not quite completely vertical. So it takes up about 2/3 of the screen, I call it 2-3, but square, if you can, is ideal, and more channels are moving towards a vertical format as well, because it takes up more of the screen, which means there's no distractions for you to go elsewhere, which means you're going to watch more of the video, and going back to our little diagram at the start, earns them more money, increases their share price, funnily enough. So these are the different types of mediums that I would use as well, which brings me to the live aspect. And I talk about Facebook Live because it's where most people produce their Facebook Live videos. And the reason why I put this here is that if you're thinking about doing more video, one of the easiest ways to get into it is to start with Facebook Live, or to start with live video of some aspect. Facebook Live, anyone can do it. So you can go live from your profiles, your pages, in events and in groups as well. You can stream from your mobile or from your desktop as well on a webcam like I am tonight. The reason why I say that Facebook Live is a good place to start is that it quickly gets you comfortable in being in front of video. The other aspect is that at the start, until you build a following, not very many people are going to watch it. So there's a little thing called the delete button that if you don't like it, you can get rid of it. But the perfect thing about Facebook Live is that there is no barrier to entry. And when it comes to producing more video, often people think, well, I need these tools and I need a better light and I need a better microphone. Facebook Live is great because the people that watch it are a little bit more forgiving. They understand that it is live then and there, and that's why they watch it, because it's raw, it's inquisitive, and it just taps into human nature for people of searching for the unexpected. So think of all different types of mediums. The reason why people go and watch sport every week is because their team could get up at any particular weekend. No matter how bad they're going, there's a little chance that the unexpected could happen, and Carlton might beat someone for once. But Facebook Live is a great way to get involved. It's super easy. There's a live functionality on all of your profiles, pages. If you go to create a new post on your page, there's a little video there that says go live. Here are some ideas, or here's some reasons why you should go live as well. Again, I like my stats that tells people why, or tries to help convince you. And if you need some more convincing, the main part is that when it comes to organic reach, it appears higher in the newsfeed. So Facebook are more likely to show this to more people that both follow your page, and if it's an interesting video and it gets consumed by more people that don't actually like your page as well. So it's actually free advertising because Facebook are trying to put more and more videos in front of people. And if it's relevant and they think it's relevant, it's a great way to get more engagement. As you can see, people get more comments, 10 times more comments on live videos, and they spend longer watching it. So it gives you more opportunity to get some engagement in there and to give Facebook some idea on who is actually interested in what you have to say. The other part that I like about, or that I tell people about Facebook, is that when they first started this, 2016, they started it and they released it with a handful of people. They were like, it's about 10 celebrities. There was The Rock and a couple of others that had access to this Facebook Live feature. They invested heavily in infrastructure, and they tested and they rolled it out gradually to different countries around the world to make sure that they got the system right and that it didn't fail when everyone jumped on it. They released it to the whole world. They've put a lot of effort and infrastructure into that. And if there's one thing that I know from a Facebook perspective, is when they want you to use something, they will do all they can to get you to use it. So you also need to consider that, going back to our stats, that people would rather watch a live video than read a blog post, or 1 in 5 videos are now live streams. It's going to be massive. Sorry, it is massive. It's going to become bigger, and there's no excuse why you can't start with a simple live video. Here are some ideas on what you can put in a Facebook Live video, or some tips on how to start as well. For starters, you need to plan and prep your topic. The best way to do that is by watching some other similar businesses, consuming maybe your competitors, maybe some ideas or some well-known people in your industry and what they're doing. Keeping a library of ideas is the best way, particularly when we get busy and we go into peak periods in our businesses, that the last thing we think about is what we're going to post on Facebook. So keeping a library of ideas that you can post when you don't have as much time. Have some dot points in front of you to keep you on track. So when I talk about Facebook Live video, I often put people in the business owners in a format where they're going to put themselves on camera, so they would actually, put the camera on reverse and they'd sit there and they talk to people at the other end. I'll go through some ideas, but one really really handy tip that if you are using a reverse camera is grab a post-it, a little post-it note, write down on the dot points as to what you're going to cover for, and then stick that on the front of your camera like so, if you can see that, because when you put your camera in reverse, all you see is yourself. And we all end up becoming like budgerigars, and we actually end up looking at ourselves the whole time. Whereas you want to move your eyes up to look through the actual lens, so people know you're actually talking to them, not to yourself. That's just a handy tip after going live quite a few times. The thing to remember is that at first, not very many people will watch, and that's okay, because you need to get comfortable with how to, what to say, how to get into how to structure your Facebook Live videos, and how to get more confident. And no one starts with that straight from the bat. I've done a lot of Facebook Live videos, and I still get nervous, and I still stumble over my words like I have tonight. But that only comes with practice in just talking more and getting used to it and staying consistent. Facebook love consistent segments each week. If you know that you're going to go live at 5 o'clock every Wednesday, whatever it is, then try to keep to that, because Facebook know that they expect, all right, 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, or 6 o'clock on Tuesday nights, this page is going to be posting a video. We know from last week and the stats that we've got who watched it, so we're going to try and give this some more reach and put it in front of people that we think would relevant. If it's a good video, more people watch it, give you more reach. Facebook will give you more reach next time you come around, but you need to stay consistent and you need to start. Some ideas, and we'll get to the last point in a second around what you could talk about on Facebook Live. One of the easiest ways is just to teach or educate people in what you're an expert in. We all know our businesses, we all know industries, we've all got history in it. So how do we show people that we know what we're talking about? Another way that you could do is cross-promoting different content from whether it be if you've got a great Instagram following or a great LinkedIn following, or if it's published a blog post or another YouTube vlog, for instance, then using Facebook Live to direct people over there. So we know that it's going to appear to more people. So rather than posting a link to your website or a link to your YouTube video to say, hey, come and watch my latest video or read the latest blog post we've done, we know that the link format post isn't going to get a great deal of reach. So how can we get in front of more people? Facebook Live. Demonstrating something. This is a really good one if you're not comfortable with putting your head on camera, but you're quite handy with your hands and you make something. You see people, if you ever watch Facebook Live videos or YouTube videos, some of the most popular ones are people actually making something, and all the video is, the camera is actually just on their hands. And so all you see is just people's hands either making stuff or drawing stuff, painting stuff, all different types of things. But great for if you're good with your hands in your industry, and it makes sense with your hands as well. If you're at different events, both that related to potentially add some value to your followers, or if you want to recap, promotions and sales that you've either got coming up or that have just happened, doing event recaps and letting people know what they missed out on potentially. And so they know next time it looks amazing. If you can go live at the event, depending on what sort of event it is, if you can go live at the event, amazing. Give people an insight as to what they've missed out on. Great way to get that FOMO up for the next time that you run the same event. Another one that requires a little bit more planning is the interviews. So obviously having someone next to you, working out how you're going to do those interviews and stuff like that. But it is possible. It's a great way to bring someone else in to talk about their experience, and maybe that your potential customers can see themselves in the person you're interviewing as well. Another one that requires a little bit of trust, but if you've got someone that you want to give control over to your Facebook page or your Instagram page or your YouTube page for the day, and say go live at some point, and they go live and say, hey, it's so-and-so, I've taken over XYZ brands Instagram for today, so I'm just doing a little Facebook Live to talk about what my day in the life is. and it gives some people insight. So it's a great way to leverage their potential followers, because they're going to cross promote it to their followers, of course, to say, hey, I'm going to go in live over on this brand's page. So you can leverage that to link and get that trust a lot faster that you can as well. And the last point there, number 7, is an Ask Me Anything video. And again, there's quite a little bit promotion and could go pear-shaped, but it can go both ways. You can either have a lot of questions and a lot of irrelevant questions and can take you off topic, or you get no questions at all, in which case you need to prepare by having some submitted questions from people out there, and some things that if people don't ask anything, so you can give people heads up, hey, 6 o'clock tonight, I'm going to be going live over on Instagram. You got any questions? Submit them, or join me live at the time and then submit them. And it's a great way to prove that you can think on your feet and you know your stuff as well. The last thing I want to get across to this last point, number 5, around Facebook Live, is think about what will happen if you don't do Facebook Live or video in general. But Facebook Live is here to stay. It's a low-hanging fruit for businesses as far as not having to dedicate a great deal of amount of time and resources into doing it, other than preparing your topic and just going live. So just hit the live button. If you get comfortable with that, then it will open up ideas and how you can use other types of video in your business as well. Here's a, pardon me, I'm going to get a drink before we get onto this one. Here's a little checklist that we're going to run through. I'll check the chat window while I'm doing this as well. Okay. I sound so polished, yeah. Yeah, there's a few linking words. Once you get into this a little bit more, Louise, sorry, I'm just rambling to myself here. Louise commented I sound so polished. I've not noticed any stumbling over words. Don't notice that I say the word all the time, but I know I do that. Okay. No other questions? Perfect. Right, let's get into my little checklist when I'm thinking around strategy, production, distribution, my 3-legged stool. What is the purpose of the video? What benefit does it give to my business? Taking that step rather than just hitting the record button is something that I recommend you do before you get into this. Production, how long, what format? Do I need it more than one format? As in, do I need it in a square format? Do I need it in a vertical format, a rectangle, or all three? How will I record it? I'm going to go into some tips on how to produce that in a second. What will I use to edit? What tools am I going to use? This production stage is going to be the last part of tonight's webinar before we get into Q&A. And then distribution, we've just gone through where will it be published? How will it be promoted? This is actually really, like, I don't want to just rush over that, but a lot of people produce a lot of video and then don't drive any traffic to it. Don't tell anyone that they're doing video. Often when clients come to us to do Facebook advertising campaigns, and we use 90 to 99% of the time, we always use video in advertising. And when I ask them, what video content have you got? They say, we haven't got any. But then I bring up their YouTube channel or their Facebook page, and I go back and look at all the videos that they've done potentially over the years. They've actually got some crackers in there, and it's at least stuff that I can pull, and I might be able to clip it or recreate it. But they don't think they've done anything with those videos. They're actually really good quality videos that help tick all the boxes that we're looking for. They've just never told anyone that they did them. I know when a lot of people start their businesses, they know, all right, well, I've got to get my promotional and marketing strategy or marketing out there. What do I need? Well, I need some photos. So I go get a photographer, and I want to get a videographer to, maybe come and shoot me and talk about what our business does. But they might have done that a few years ago. It's still relevant. If it's a timeless video, it's still relevant. You should still be driving traffic to the work that you're putting in to these. Do I need captions? We're going to talk about the little words that overlay when videos don't play with any sound. And what thumbnail will I use? So what will people see before they hit the play button? What will grab their attention for that split second before the video automatically plays? This is a good checklist to have when you're thinking about each of the different videos at each of those different levels as well. Okay, let's get into the tactics. So I know you all want to go start producing video. You're pumped. you've got your strategy right. You've got the 2 legs of the stool done. Let's get into the 3rd leg. Video production. Here's what you need to get started. It was coming, right? That's our video camera for every small business out there to start with. Yes, I get there's a role for videographers out there, and I don't want to undervalue what they do, because some of them produce some amazing videos and amazing results for businesses out there. But when we're getting started, there's no excuse why you can't use the camera in your pocket or the webcam on your laptop as well. You just need to get that. That does a perfect job 9 times out of 10 for people out there, and for us as small businesses. We need to think about what we're going to invest in that as well. But if we're filming things and recording ourselves, phone is a perfect place to start. And talk about some other types of videos tools that you can use as well. I know you want to beef up your little video editing suite. You can invest in some stuff here, but it's not compulsory at all. When I talk about the 2 things you need to consider are lighting and sound. And lighting, natural light is best. At night time, I've got 2 light boxes in front of me, so that little beauty light, I've got similar in front of me tonight. I've invested in that because I do a lot of video, but if this was a daytime, natural light is always better than artificial light. Sound, you just need to make sure that you're inside and you're not in like the bathroom where you've got all of this echo bouncing off tiled walls. If you're in a room that absorbs some of the sound, that you don't have a great deal of background noise, don't let that stop you from going and starting video, because it can actually add a little bit of atmosphere to it as well, and having that background noise. So just think about that. Yes, you can do this if it's great. I'll put some resources on that web page that I'll create for you later as well, that will have some links to a couple of these products on Amazon. I don't have any investment in any of these, but I'll put a list to the ones that I've created as well. It's quite cost effective if you're going to be doing this more often. But if you just get at the starting point, this is your video camera, and also your video editing suite, which brings me to the next point, that if you want to start to edit more on your mobile, I suggest downloading. There's hundreds of apps out there. Okay, there's no shortage of video editing apps out there, and a lot of them do very, very similar things. What I would recommend is finding one that you like, that helps you get the end product that you like. Pretty much all of the apps out there will be a paid version, but have some freemium type aspects and might let you do some of the parts that they offer. Sometimes they might be might have a watermark, right? That's the word I'm looking for. A watermark on the video, or it might export it with a closing slide that promotes the app that it's been created with, or something like that. So just keep an eye on that and think about, well, what's going to be the best one for me. But I recommend just downloading some. Here are some ones that are at varying degrees of prices. Obviously, some are more expensive than others, but I'm not forcing you to try and invest a great deal of money into this. But if you're going to do this properly and you don't want to get caught in the average videos out there, there are a lot of your competitors that aren't investing any sort of money in this equipment. So having to think about, well, what can I afford? What works for me? And the great thing is that they all offer a freemium model to help you give it a bit of a test run and see what works and what doesn't. And so these are editing apps that are just on your mobile. So if you go and record a video and you want to edit or bring it in here, they also let you do some other things like some slideshows and stuff like that. But I'm going to show you my secret little weapon for that in a second. Some other tools, if you want to edit on a desktop, then these are my 3. Again, varying degrees of prices, and to start off with. Some of them, they do have free versions. So if you're looking for a free version, Wave Video is one that lets you create some videos for free. But again, it's kind of a freemium model where you can only upload directly to social media. You can't download that video and use it elsewhere, for instance. So you need to log in with Facebook, log in with YouTube, log in with Instagram, whatever you do, and they do the posting on your behalf. They don't ever let you actually get access to that video as well, but it's pretty cost effective, and it's an online format as well, so you can use it on Mac and Windows. The links are down the bottom to those as well. Again, I don't have any vested interest in either of these. For transparency, I ended up investing in Camtasia for a subscription, a once off, because I found it the easiest to use. I also do quite a lot of screen recording as well, and do some screencasts and stuff like that, that it has that inbuilt functionality and then brings that in and allows me to use that. If we've got time later on, I might see if I can bring up one of my projects and I'll show you a little bit about how it works. But to start off with, you need to find what works for you and how you like to edit video and how you like to establish your projects and stuff like that. Some of you will have used video editing suites before. If you're happy with that, stick with it. This shouldn't be the barrier to determine whether or not you create more video or not. Okay, secret weapon. Here it is. My last little tool for editing on desktop is called Lumen 5. Don't know why it's called that. Strange name. Here's a link to it. I'm going to actually show you a video. The great thing about Lumen 5 is that they do have a freemium model. Again, you can just download. They're only standard definition videos, so they're not HD. But the cool thing about Lumen 5 that I like is that it uses a couple of things. So it uses some AI to create videos for you, and you can upload like blog RSS feeds. So if you're creating content on your website and you're uploading news and blog content, what it does is that whenever you upload a new blog post, it will grab that link. It'll look through the blog post and it will pull out some key points in the blog post, often like where you've used headings and that. And it'll actually start to give you the shell of a video to say, all you need to do is you come in, you need to make some additional edits and use our royalty-free images and video, and you can create in all different formats as well. It's also unlimited for the amount of videos that you can make, and that's some of the restrictions on some of the other subscriptions as well. You can only create a certain amount of videos each month. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, which I'll just quickly refresh that because we're going to get to them, so we don't have to wait for them. This is the pricing, by the way, for Lumen 5. So you can start build, that's build a monthly, so $29 US per month as well, just remember. But that will give you everything as a business that you need to create. And I think it helps you create videos across all of those different categories that we've looked at as well. So this is what the video looks like, the video editor looks like. Basically what it does is it creates a lot of those videos that you see when you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook. They're a combination of slideshow or moving image and text across them. They quickly and easily capture people's attention. They keep people's attention, and they deliver information or emotion in a concise manner. So this is the video. This is the video that I actually created to promote tonight's webinar. So what it allows me to do, so it's got all of this different media over here, and I can drag that and put this in the background. But then it allows you to put different text in each of the sections as well. Hopefully, there we go. So I can highlight it. I can then turn that into a different color. I can change the different text position. So if I want to put it down that bottom corner, and could do things like different size of the text as well. And then I've got some other options over here. So that background is an image that is just a royalty-free image that they've got there as well. If I wanted to make it darker, or I wanted to make it a little bit lighter, depending on obviously the color of your text, you can see that as it gets a little bit lighter, and you can see the contrast less, but if I drag way up, you'll see that that text pops a little bit more. Then hit the apply button, and I can do different sort of sub scenes in each of these as well. So as you're doing it, it lets you preview them, which is quite handy. So if we go to the preview section, and you can see it playing there, probably recognize that stat. So that's both of those images. Now let's say, for instance, that, all right, so we've got different types of media as well. We've got video, photos, and editorial, which is some of their things that they bring in. But if we want to go, let's just see if we want to change this image. And I literally just drag that over and then chuck it in the background, and it will update there for me and overlays that. And it looks at the image and goes, well, where's the best place to put this text so it doesn't take away from the image, but also gives you the best contrast as well. And then there's basically all of these different scenes that I've added as I go through. So this is like one of the closing slides. How are you using video in your business? Tell us in the comments below. So now I can do up here. This is now a 20-second long video. Let's see what it looks like. So as you go through, so I'm currently on the free plan, so I'm not going to be able to export this and show you it, but notice also how it's in a square format. So let's see what it looks like. Go preview, and it will run through. This is what it will look like as it was coming through my news feed. I don't need to do any edits to the background. I just change the text. I change the images. I change the format of the images, or you can see that's also video as well. So it gives you royalty-free video. And then, of course, because I'm on the free plan, gives them a plug at the end. Pretty cool. I can also add some media, some music in there as well. So it's got different types of free audio tracks, depending on what I want to do. Not sure what, I won't play those because it might play really loud. The other one is that if I want to come over here and go, all right, where 1-to-1 ratio, so a square ratio for Facebook, let's come over to a 16:9, which is a rectangle format. If I click this, that will then change everything over here for me. So I can quickly create different formats. I can, when I go to create a new one, it will ask you what difference you want to put it in. There's also Instagram formats and vertical format for, well, actually, there it is. Wasn't sure whether it was there. Let's go IGTV, which is vertical, so I could use in, depending how long it goes, I could use it in Instagram stories as well. So you can see how that looks a little bit different there as well. And it will try to adjust everything accordingly to make it a little bit easier and change the format to fit that platform. And when it comes back to distribution and being able to do this, now you can also pay upgrade and you can upload your own media. So yes, this is a great way to create quick, simple and easy videos that can cover some of those emotional cues at the start, or might help you at the end of the funnel where they're more promotional. You can use their royalty-free ones. Yes, they are stock images, so they look very stock images, but you can also upload your own as well. So if you are shooting video and you want to add things like text cues over the top of what you're talking about, then you can bring that video in here, upload it to the program, put different text as it goes across if you want lower thirds and stuff like that. Really easy. Let's get into another one that this is from one of my blog posts that talk about the new Facebook ad library, which now Facebook now lets you see every single active Facebook ad. If you've ever been to any of my Facebook sessions, it's my little tip. Let's go through and edit some of this. So down here, it looked at that blog post and then saw it was about social media. So I brought in some real stock image social media. So we're going to change these up a little bit more. So let's, when we're talking about, and you can just search up here different like categories. So obviously I've searched Facebook, and then let's say, want to just go ahead. So this is a call to action on this slide. Want to just go ahead to check your competitor ads. Let's use this one. We'll drag him in there. And then what else have we got? Cat videos, that always works. So again, is a rectangle type video and text over it. Let's go and preview it, see how it goes. So this is a new feature, by the way, that you can see anyone's Facebook ads. Good way to see your competitors. That image obviously hasn't worked there. Check the article on where to find it. Click below to find out more, and it would have a link. So when it comes to there's my last, how will this impact your advertising? I didn't put an image there. So when it comes to wanting to promote your different content out there, trying to repurpose it in different formats. If you are writing blog content, or if you are doing video content and you want to drive some traffic back to it, these style of videos fit a lot of the different distribution channels out there, particularly when we're looking at kind of the big ones. Just back on the presentation quickly. When we're looking at Facebook and Instagram for starters, where most businesses will focus their attention on, but don't let that take you away from YouTube there as well. Sometimes YouTube needs a little bit longer, but as far as creating highly consumable content across Facebook and Instagram, Lumen 5 is one of my most recommended tools out there to be able to do. So I recommend that you sign it up for a free account and just start to use it and see how it goes. If you think it's worth investing, by all means, I recommend jumping in and giving that a little bit more of a go as well. But that's Lumen 5. Let's jump back into where we were. Now, one of the big things that you need to consider is that when videos play, they will predominantly play without sound. So we need to combat that by uploading some captions. And so people, when they're sitting on the couch or on the train on the way home, don't need to turn the sound on the video to be able to consume it. They can just sit there and see what you're saying, if it's got obviously voiceovers or people talking in it. There are some tools here that I use that help me quickly and easily get some captions, and they again have their different kind of nuances in them. One I've just started using recently is called Quick, quickc.io. So the first two costs, they cost $1 US per minute. The great thing about Quick is that it allows you to change the format of the captions. So they're actually embedded in the video, and you can see, I'll show you what it looks like in a second. But also when you upload a video, it reads it via AI. So it's immediately gives you that transcription. It's not as accurate though, so you need to sometimes go back and actually edit that. The next one is rev.com. Rev.com just started out as a transcription service for big corporations out there that want to transcribe things like phone calls and sales meetings and stuff like that internally. So then they basically brought this out into videos, and they have a suite of, a team of writers out there that basically just listen to the audio, and then they transcribe it for you. You can you just download the file and you upload it to in combination with the file to wherever you're going to publish that video. If it's been on Facebook or YouTube, there's always an option to upload closed captions, basically. Rev.com will give you a file to be able to do that. Again, it's $1 US per minute. And then the last option, which is always good, it's a free option, is actually on YouTube. A lot of people don't know that you can do this. So if you upload your video to YouTube, their internal system, sometimes depending on how long the video is, will automatically create captions for you. And you can select if you want automatic captions. And once that's actually done, you can go in to that captions file. One, you can edit it because it's not very accurate, or depending on what your accent is, but it's not very good for the Australian accent. But so you can go in and edit it, and then you can actually download that file as well if you then want to upload it to spots like Facebook. So it takes a little bit more time. That's the hardest aspect, hence why it's free. But if you do want to get someone else to do it for you and you want to see how it works, firstly, this is rev.com. You basically just upload your file and it's $1 US per minute and it crunches it straight away. This is what quick.io looks like. This was a video we were doing for a client. You upload the video. This one goes for 1 minute 24 seconds, and it will go through all of the different obviously what they're saying. You need to listen and go back and translate some of the Australian accent a little bit again. But the great thing that I like about it is that over here on the editing side, you can change the different style of the text. So if you want to do things like change into, let's, there we go. So this is what it would appear like, and that would actually appear over the video, regardless of whether they're watching it with sound on or off or not. You can obviously change whether it be top or the bottom, the background, and the font style as well. Let's go sure and slightly bigger. There we go. And there are different things. So what you would actually do is you'd finalize that video. It would because you've uploaded the MP3 file, it basically sticks the captions on top of it, and then you can download it as one file for you to then upload it to wherever you like. It's a really important step in the video making process that pretty much regardless of where you're going to upload it. Obviously, there are some shorter platforms like Instagram stories and stuff like that where you're not going to be talking for as long on that, and they may not need captions. But when it comes to any longer form video outside of those platforms, then you need to consider captions, because over 80% of videos are played without sound on them. So it's really important that you need to be able to do that and consider how to do that. There's a couple of different tools there for you that I want you to be able to go through. All right, let me just check before we get into the last little bits. Christine, do caption tools work with MP4 files or other file formats? Yeah, any other so MOV files. I'm sure I'm trying to think of the other file formats, but MP4 MOV will upload, and you can do that absolutely. You can actually with rev.com, you can actually upload copy and paste a link. So if it's a link to a YouTube video or a link to a Facebook post, they actually look at that link and then they go through and see how long that video is for, and then that's how they charge you accordingly. As I said, as I noted down here, the turnaround time is slightly longer as well, because I actually get a human to do it, but it's more accurate. So either or, need to consider there as well. Okay, how are we going? Good. We've got about half an hour, which is where I want to get into questions, but let's recap. There's been a lot of information, and I did warn you that there's going to be a lot of information tonight, because I want you to be able to get the most value out of here and come away with the tools and steps necessary to start using more video in your business. So to recap, firstly, think about what you're going to produce first. Plan the content accordingly and promote your work. Tell people that you're doing it, and the more people that watch your videos, the more traffic you can drive to your videos, the more views of your videos will help your business. When it comes to video, it is so imperative that you need to get your head around and wrap your head around that is where the future of media consumption is going, whether we like it or not. But it also gives you an amazing opportunity to connect on a deeper level than customers than we ever have before. And if you understand your customers better than your competitors, they're going to use you over them. If you can help communicate your value proposition and why you can provide more value to them, to your competitors, particularly when it comes down to comparing price, then video is an amazing format to be able to do that. And it's there's no barriers there to stop people from doing it. And the reason why I encourage you to get started now is not only will, if you start to do use some of these tools and start to create more video, is it gives you ideas on different content down the track that you can use. And a lot of people I see in businesses will go, all right, we need a video, let's go and invest. And they go and invest all this money in a video and in a video team. And I don't actually know if that talking point or the content of that video is ever actually going to work. Doing this type of video internally and using the resources that are available to us as small businesses will help give you feedback on what does work and what doesn't work, and what talking points really resonate with people. Getting that sort of 360-degree feedback on your business, so then when it does come time to be, okay, I'm ready to invest a little bit more in a video management team, I know what the content in my video is going to be, and I just want someone that's got a little bit more skill, a little bit more time, and knows what they're doing to help communicate that in a better format. But this is where you need to start with video. And I get it that as small businesses, it's confronting, because we may not have ever put our face out there before, or may not have had the opportunity. I think that's the right way to do it. But as small businesses, one of our biggest advantages is that the customer often deals directly with either the business owner or yourself or someone involved in the business one-on-one. You're not the owner of your business that's hiding behind multiple levels underneath you. So you need to consider that and try to use it to your advantage by creating those videos that talk to people as people, and that P2P marketing. All right, let's get into some questions. I hope we'll scroll back up, but if you've got any questions, just jump into the chat aspect and we will go through those. What have we got? All right, it's a few issues earlier. Press. Shiva. Anyone got any questions? I haven't got it. I can't believe have I not delivered enough for you? Okay, what do we got? Louise, maybe from down here. Louise, this is a really good question, actually. Louise asked, do you have to appear all bubbly and gushy to get noticed? How do introverts promote via video? That's actually a really good question. Believe it or not, I don't actually feel very comfortable in front of video. It's taken me a lot of time to get comfortable with being able to talk to people. So a couple of ways personally, Louise, that I can help with that is how I like to try and put myself in the people's shoes on the other end of the video. And that's really necessary because you want to be able to connect with them on a deeper level, and it removes my feelings from that. And I try to, okay, how am I going to help them? And often with introverts, we're always trying to help everyone else but ourselves. So how can I help them on the other end of the video camera? So try and change your thinking a little bit around rather than just hitting a record button and feeling incredibly uncomfortable. The other part is coming up with different types and formats of videos, and sometimes if you're not comfortable immediately putting your head on camera, using some of those text and images, slideshow type format of videos that I showed you in Lumen 5 allows you to not always have to put your head in front of there to start off with, but you also need to consider that most people will buy from other people, and at some point we should, whether it's, I'm here obviously talking about video, but whether it's even a still image of you, that at least someone can connect with a human being at the other end. And don't always think that being bubbly and gushy is the best format to do it. Rawness, being vulnerable, being able to relate to your customer is actually offers a lot of value. So don't always think that you need to think that everything is perfect, because there's a lot of, particularly a lot of trends in online video as far as people being to connect with other people there and being real about how it's all going. Okay. Donna, are you limited to only using stock images with the basic video apps? No, you're not. So yeah, you can upload your own. So you can, you can upload your own video content that you've created on your camera rather. It depending on the app that you're using, and sometimes on the subscription that you're using, whether or not you can do that as well. Shiva, my English is not good enough to make video. That's a really good point. How can I make a video for my workshop? So, Shiva, a couple of things. Doesn't necessarily need, you don't necessarily need, remember to think that not everyone has amazing English as watching the video as well. So, if people in your culture and your English can understand you, that's completely fine. Or you can create videos in your own native language as well. That opens up to different aspects of the market. Shiva, I know you're a mechanic, and I know that you're very good with what you do and with what your hands. So being able to show you actually performing your role, how you do things, like I mentioned earlier about my car, how you would actually go about fixing that, or what this might mean for your car, or why it's important that you some common checks that you can do, and you can still combine some of the text overlays with your own video as well to have that combination of both of them as well. Great question, Shiva. Thank you. Christine, have you got an example of a tourist business that does social media very well? Okay, let me see if I've perfect. I'm going to bring this over here. So, Christine, a lot of people know this about me, but my little passion project is a tour guides business called Melbourne Vegan Tours. We do vegan food tours in the city of Melbourne. We basically just go and eat vegan food for a while. It's only a relatively new business. I'm going to turn this down. So this is Camtasia, the tool that I was talking about. And you're welcome to go and pick apart any of my video that I've done before. But when we started the business towards the end of last year, we used social video and Facebook to basically build our business from scratch because there was nothing out there before. And one of the biggest barriers that we had is that no one knew what the hell a vegan tour was. So this is something that I compiled using Camtasia just by recording different formats, and I'll show you what it looks like. If I hit play, you'll see it. It might be a bit jumpy for the actual video itself. Some of it says some overlay, there's text over the top because again, I'm not talking on it. It's just some talking points that people can consume it, but this is all video that I shot on a phone. Again, I don't need high quality camera equipment. It's phone quality footage, then with some talking points and text over the top of it. And I put some music in the background, but it got to, I'm not sure whether there's, oh, there we go, yeah. And it's got some different, so let me just show you a little bit around Camtasia. So the great thing is that I find this is kind of where you, I can move this up. It's where I can find, the editing suite quite handy and quite user friendly. So I can do things like if I want to crop something, I can pull that in and out. This bit here, this little text is they've got an inbuilt library of, this is a lower third I did, so I can just drag that down and then come up here. This is what it looks like. Can make it bigger, can change colors over here of that, and then I can change the texture obviously as well. The other part, you notice that this is a square video as well, so it's quite easy to change my project settings, and they've got different default ones there as well, or I can change it so this is 1080 by 1080 pixels, that is, and it's quick and easy to share and export to wherever I would like. Obviously I can just export the file and then do what I want with it as well, but there's enough inbuilt in here that allow me to do enough with it. As I said before, this record button up here allows me to do screencast. So often if I'm showing someone how to do something in Facebook, I'll record my screen, and then that will bring the video in here for me and allow me to quickly and easily chop things. So you'll see, like, as I'm creating this kind of video, and this is a good point when you're thinking about how to piece a video together. We had different video content for this video shoot. I just basically took some friends on it to go eat vegan food for the day. But what I did is I brought it basically in, and I want to try and cut this down as much as possible. So often you'll see, I want to try and keep people's attention as they come through. So you'll see that shots often change here as often as possible as you come through. And I want to try and make it as succinct and quick as possible. And if there's one thing that when you're editing video, trying to make, can actually, this video has already been published, but I might need to redo this one, I think, in there as well. And then I can drag it across, combine them all. They've got some nice different little transitions, different things like fade them across. And it's all sort of drag and drop. So that's why I like this one. But again, you can use whatever you would like. I've been creating enough video now that it helps me do it a little bit faster, and it helps people learn video a little bit easier as well. Sometimes there's a lot of programs out there, like, and I've used Premiere Pro and you know, a lot of Adobe Suite and stuff like that. And there's so many different buttons that sometimes it's just overwhelming as to know what to choose. It's a nice simple little program that I could choose here as well. So Donna, I'd recommend you can feel free to go and check out our video that we're doing. Some other tourism businesses, some of the large tourism boards actually do a really good job, and I often see videos from the City of Melbourne. If you're looking at some examples of how they don't have an individual, sorry, from What's on Melbourne, which is created by City of Melbourne, but they don't have individuals in front of their camera often. It's just like, here's what's on this weekend, here's Melbourne's top 10 hidden bars, here's Melbourne's XYZ, and it uses pretty much that same format that you've just seen in Camtasia. They just create the video often on their phone, and then they piece together nice and quickly as well. Donna, do you recommend extra training and facilitation and public speaking? No, well, I mean, you can go do that, Donna. I've never done anything like that at all. What I would recommend is actually using the Facebook Live functionality, because I know that seems daunting. One thing you can do is, if you want to get used to seeing yourself on camera, is when you go live on Facebook, you can go live from your personal Facebook profile. When you go to post a Facebook post, you can change your privacy settings. So you can change it as to whether your friends see it, whether it goes public, or there's actually an option for only me. So what I'll recommend is actually changing that setting, going to only me, going live, and then obviously you're not going to get any people commenting or watching your video. But if you want to practice how you run through different points and getting more succinct and coming up with a format, so when you're ready and practicing what you're saying, I think it's actually one of the best ways to do it, because it's kind of the sink or swim type aspect. If you find value out of that and you find people's reactions in person, obviously you're going to get that in that type of format as well, so you can see what people think. But sometimes I think just seeing what people are commenting on Facebook Live videos, or what they're watching and what they're interested in, and asking questions as you go is one of the best ways to keep you on your toes, so to speak. Okay. Valerie, what does optimizing a video mean? So I think I'm not sure what context that's in, Valerie, but I think if you're when it comes to optimizing, that can mean a few different formats. So you've got optimization, where you create a video in one format, and say, for instance, a video that I've just been editing in Camtasia, I do that, and maybe I see that people are only watching 5 seconds of that, and that will tell you on average how long people watch it for. If I think that there's somewhere that clearly people are dropping off, then I might want to revisit that video and go, all right, well, how can we change either the order of this video or the length of this video or the format of this video to get people to watch more of it and to get to the point. So they're consuming most of the video to allow us to build that connection with them. So that's one way you can optimize video as well. Another way is if you are creating different videos in different topics and seeing which talking point works best. So is it when you're talking about, let's go back to the product, for instance, in our different types of videos at the promotional level, and you're talking about an e-commerce store, is it the call to action talking about free shipping? Is it the call to action talking about it'll be at your home tomorrow? Is it the call to action around you get a free gift if you purchase within the next 24 hours? What resonates best with people as far as how much they're consuming? And then if you create those videos in a really simple format, like bare bones, just put something up using any of those programs, or Lumen 5, whatever it is, creating that. And then if that works, then you go, okay, we know that free shipping is what appeals to most people. So let's go and create a better video and a more, whether we outsource that or whether we use that concept and build it out a little bit further. That's another way that you can optimize video as well. I hope that kind of answers what you're talking about. Donna, is there an app or program that creates a video in several languages? Yeah, that is, it's a good question. What can I know as far as captions, like, I guess it's, yeah, it's not, I'm not sure what you mean, whether it's like, it only be captions or whether someone goes and speaks while you're speaking in a different language. But I know in captions, definitely when you go and use any of those services, they ask you what language you want it in. So you can do it in more than one language, obviously, as well. You can also, YouTube has quite a big community where people go and caption different large English videos into different languages. So they actually volunteer to go and do that, and they get checked by the YouTube system, obviously. But if your video gets enough views, it will get translated automatically into different languages as well. Yeah, I'm not sure whether that helps a little bit there, Donna. Narrowly, is a recommendation, is there a recommended length of a video is short and sweet better? So that goes back to whether which platform you're using. So this one. So I always say it needs to be as long as you need to get your point across when you're talking about video. So some platforms, certainly short and sweet are better. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the attention spans aren't very long on there, and people want to consume more and more videos. So yeah, short and sweet works better. It does, absolutely. Even though this is a little tip or trick from Facebook land. Facebook, when you go to upload a video, they're like, oh, this video isn't 3 minutes long. We recommend making your video longer. The reason why they've introduced that is because if your video triggers 3 minutes, then it gives them the opportunity to put a mid-roll advertisement in it. So at that 30-second mark, it'll play at least one advertisement. So it doesn't necessarily mean that your video won't get more reach. In fact, it'll probably get even more reach because more people are going to consume it. Facebook won't penalize you for putting longer videos, for putting shorter videos on Facebook. So even though they recommend that, don't listen to them. So yes, some channels, absolutely, short and sweet better, getting to the point. That helps get what your goal is in a video as well. Bridget, sorry. All right, thanks for coming. Are you saying videos are just a set of photos with captions on them? I thought it would be more moving pictures with sound. Anne-Marie, question, yeah, are you saying videos are just a set of photos with captions on them? I thought we'd be moving pictures with sound. Yeah, it's a good question. Often a lot of the videos consumed on social media are just either moving photos. Sometimes they can be moving videos in the background as well. Sound's pretty much non-existent on a lot of videos. sometimes on YouTube they will play without sound, play with sound, but across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, it's what's easy to consume, what's going to get the point across. And as far as when it comes to small business and the resources that we have available to you, I'm giving you the resources that I would recommend based on the time and money that you have. And if rather than having to go and, yes, if you've got the time and resources to go and create longer videos and more polished videos, absolutely, if you can do that. But as a starting point where most of the businesses are at the moment in the webinar, using some of those tools to create different images and slideshows and text over the top is going to be the best performing at the moment. But because it is moving, it captures people's attentions, Anne-Marie. So, Adonis, any recommended websites to source royalty-free images and sound/music for videos? There's plenty of different royalty-free image sites out there. Two that I would recommend. Let me type these out for you. So I'll type these out underneath here so you can see what they look like rather than me trying to spell them. Unsplash.com is a list of photographers around the world that upload your videos to be able to use. And sounds and music for videos. YouTube have a inbuilt music library. It's the other one. Just Google YouTube Music Library and you can download any type of, you can filter by category, whatever you're looking for. But those are my two recommended. One, Unsplash is more lifestyle images. It's not like the stock photo images that you see on some really bad videos, and I recommend not using them as much as you can. Louise, do you add hashtags or keywords at the back end of videos so they can get indexed or can be searched? So they won't adding the hashtags on the video is in on the images or in the text. They won't be indexed themselves, but obviously when you're posting across social media on particularly Instagram, in the captions, in the caption of the post. So when you upload the video and then you type out what the video is, and then underneath you list your hashtags, absolutely putting the hashtags on there will help that video be more reach more people. One other thing that is really interesting that when it comes to keywords, when you upload to YouTube, YouTube's owned by Google, and YouTube will automatically transcribe your video for you. If you're saying something in it, it will create captions for you. That's the only way that Google know how to, or what your video is about, is by what you're saying. So Google will actually look at what the content is about, and when you're talking and using certain phrases and terms, it will say, it will help you appear higher in the Google search results. And if you've been to Google recently, you will see that when you search for something, they will always put their properties up the top. So that's why I highly recommend YouTube. Is an amazing platform for that as well. Okay, Martin joined late, unfortunately. Sorry, we're about 10 minutes ago. Yes, it will be replayed at all. You'll get a link if to the full replay as well. Donis, no worries. Thanks for coming. Shiva, appreciate your time. If there's any other questions at all, by all means, let me know. I will, in the meantime, while I'm just checking that, I'm just going to log into the ASBAS program and show you where the how you can actually book a mentoring session as well, so you can see where it is. And I'll keep an eye on any questions as well, if you've still got any, and I'll try to answer them. As we mentioned earlier, the slides will be sent to you, as well a list of all of the different resources that I've mentioned tonight as well, and I'll put links to them. Okay, just logging into my accounts. Bear with us. Thanks, Gail, for coming along. Appreciate everyone's attention as well. I know 2 hours on a Tuesday night's probably the yeah, it's not the greatest way to spend your Tuesday evening sometimes, but hopefully that gave you some value. Louise, yeah, I know I really let the team down on more movie puns, so Yeah, sorry, we're going to start rolling the credits in a moment, and that's lights, camera, done. Sorry, I'm done. I've been talking for 2 hours. Okay, when you log into your system, you can so you select on depending which state you're in, and then mentoring sessions. These are all the different mentors as you go through. This is me here, and and because you're logged in, you'll automatically just get a link directly to my calendar. Basically, my calendar links to my actual calendar, and you can just book a time that works. So you can book 1 hour, 2 hour. I'm based in Fairfield. If you're in Melbourne, you can come and have the session with me here in the office, or we can also do it via Skype or Zoom as well. But yeah, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever you would like. Select a time that works for you. Gail had the chappers ready to roll down the aisles. Thank you. Enrica, I've already taken advantage of 2 mentoring sessions. Can I purchase more? That might be a question better answered by the ASBAS guys. Francisco, I'm not sure if he's still here, might be able to try and answer that one. But otherwise, just send them an email and see what you've got left. Unfortunately, I can't give you a definitive answer for that. Christine, or try the Facebook Live. I know it's scary, it's terrifying. Tin Dragon Cottages. Janine, thanks, Dan. There may have been a lack of movie funds for you. Carlton Football Club winning games when you don't expect it reference was welcomed here. Thank you. I'm glad you've got some. I hope there's some Carlton fans in the background there as well. I always pick on Paul Carlton. I can't speak. I'm an Essendon fan, so look, it'll only be a week and we'll be back out having a Mad Monday with you guys soon. What else have we got? Okay, I think that's it, folks. We are counting down. Thank you, everyone, for coming along for another evening on video marketing. I hope you're out there and start to produce some videos, because I think you're going to get a lot of value out of it, and you're going to create a much better connection with your potential customers out there, and some more business. That's obviously the end goal. We're all business owners, so if you're going to put your effort into this, rather than just creating video for the sake of it, create it to the point where you can actually get some business outcomes out of it. And that's why you need to think about the different formats and the different types of videos that you do as well. Download those slides, start to fill out the little, we'll start to work on the checklist and come up with some ideas on how you can get some more value across to people. Thanks, Ursula, Enrica, and Roxanne for coming along. Appreciate you guys and your time. Sheridan, appreciate it. Thank you so much for staying all the way to the end. 2 hours. You guys are troopers. Okay, I'm going to sign off. There'll be a replay available as well. You'll get all the slides shortly. But thank you again. Enjoy the rest of what's left of your Tuesday evening, and I'll chat to you soon. All right, bye.